Hey guys, we need to talk today about the difference between loving unconditionally and living unconditionally. They are two very separate concepts that constantly are getting misunderstood. And when I talk about loving unconditionally and living unconditionally, what I'm talking about is really the difference between love and respect. And many of my clients have talked about this quite a bit because this comes up in almost every single relationship we have, and I think it is important that we distinguish between the two. Loving and loving unconditionally is caring for and having regard for the well-being of another person, genuinely caring about their best interest, the well-being of that person, and enjoying the essence that is them. That's it. It is sitting beside them. It is witnessing them. It is looking into their eyes. It is listening to their story. It is being present with them and their essence. That is love. It is sometimes something we don't have a lot of control over, and it is something that we can grow and build upon as we engage in more connectedness. Now, the other part, living unconditionally, is not necessarily a healthy thing. We need to have respect, and when I talk about respect, it immediately takes me to having boundaries, and we have to have a very serious conversation about boundaries. The first thing about boundaries is it is a demonstration of love. First and foremost, it is a demonstration of love for ourselves and a respect for ourselves. It is saying, I need to take care of myself, and I regard myself as something important, someone who holds importance, and therefore it is my responsibility to respect myself, to take care of myself. And bugs love me. Bugs, like, by the time I'm done with this video, I'm gonna have like 8 mosquito bites, and I've just like come to terms with the fact that I taste delicious. I drink a lot of wine, and I must taste delicious. I'm quite marinated. But anyways, so setting boundaries is a demonstration. I told you guys, setting boundaries is a demonstration of respect for ourselves, and then what it is it's teaching someone else how to treat us. And so in a way, it's an act of love in the sense that when I have respectful boundaries with another person and they know how to treat me in a way in which they can stay in my life in a loving, wonderful, beautiful, respectful way, it allows us to continue our relationship. If they are disrespectful and they are breaking boundaries, what happens? We have to eliminate them from our lives. They're not safe for us. They're not respectful. And so it is a demonstration of love and respect to have boundaries. And when you lack boundaries, it is a reflection of low self-worth, and it is a reflection of low respect, and frankly, it is a demonstration that you don't have a lot of confidence in their ability to navigate a healthy relationship with you. All right, so swallow that one. The second thing that boundaries develop is this sense of trust. I know what to expect in you. You know what to expect in me. Obviously, there are going to be exceptions to these rules, but that is totally okay. That is okay, because most of the time we need to know that we can count on someone, or what we can count on from them. And it is imperative for us to be able to have a sense of trust in order for us to feel safe enough in a relationship, in order to create, here's a big word, intimacy. There must be trust in order for there to be intimacy. So again, if you do not have boundaries, if you do not have respect in the relationship, you can't have intimacy. Okay, guys? And I think it's important to acknowledge that boundaries look different for different people. And so when I sit down with parents who are, for example, needing to set boundaries with their adult children, I don't say, so this is the rule and you need to enforce it. What I sit down and discuss and process with them is, what are your values? What matters to you? What triggers do you have? What would feel respectful in your relationship with your son or daughter, right? So it is entirely something that is, and I always say, you've got the love and then you've got the business contract. It is entirely negotiable. Another thing about boundaries is they evolve. So when you're early on in a dating relationship, you might be open to a lot more of your spouse going out and partying and drinking. But then when you have 3 kids, that doesn't work. You need to create a new business contract, a new relationship dynamic that is conducive to meeting both of your needs, at least most of the time. You can't do it all the time, but most of the time, both of you can agree upon a certain, set of rules and understandings that allows you both to feel respected. That's it. Respected. Not in control, not one partner being in control of the other, simply respectful of the fact that you're sharing a world, you're sharing a life together. And that respect allows you to maintain intimacy, maintain closeness, and it allows for more opportunities for you to show one another love. All right? And the last thing is, if things change in your relationship, sometimes we expect our friends, our partners, our parents to just adapt to us. And one thing that we need to do is make the covert, the spit handshake, overt. We need to make these unwritten rules very obvious. We cannot expect our partners, our friends, our family members to read our minds. We need to make sure that these contracts are discussed, the feelings are communicated, and that person is very clear about where you stand on things. And sometimes I even have couples or family members or parents and children sit down and write a contract. I call it the expectations contributions contract. And in that contract, what we discuss is what the one party's needs are, what the other party's needs are, what the compromise is, and then what the consequence is going to be if that need is not met, if that respectful boundary is not maintained. What's the consequence of that? And so that person has the choice. They still always have the choice to work with that boundary or to try to break that boundary. But this time, when they break that boundary, it's not a surprise what the consequence is going to be. They made a conscious choice. Oh, mosquitoes are getting me. They made a conscious choice to break that boundary, and that was on them. Okay? So I hope that's really helpful with regards to boundaries. Where in your life are you needing to set these boundaries right now? Where in your life are some of your needs not explicit? Where have they been implicit? You're just hoping they're going to understand this is a need you have. What are some of your fears around making some of your needs explicit? What are some areas in which you have not been showing self-respect and self-worth by creating some boundaries in your life? You've been accepting things that really don't work for you and make you feel really either badly about yourself or very frustrated with another person, but you've had a hard time setting some boundaries and some concrete expectations around what your needs are. What's going on for you? Please share. It's so helpful when you guys share. I love when you guys send me messages as well, and I'm always glad to do a little back and forth with you to help you create some of these boundaries if you need some support there. And hope you guys have an awesome day and take care. I'll see you next week.